Hey guys, welcome back. This is day 6. Day 5 was pretty good because I did manage to get a lot of stuff done in like 30 minutes. That was moving the website into the responsive version. Very productive day. And I was completely using ChatGPT to get that done. So it was really a productive day. Day 6 is going to be about deployment because I really want to try out right now because I have built this using Laravel and Vue. I know that Laravel works with GoDaddy. That's a server I am using to deploy. And I have already a domain registered there where an existing website is working. But I just want to get that replaced with the current one. That's the idea today. I'm really not sure about Vue.js, whether it's going to get deployed in GoDaddy because if there is a dependency with Node, we have a problem. If not, then it's a cakewalk because Laravel Works PHP's updated version is supported in GoDaddy. So with a lot of hope, I'm going to get started with this episode in deploying my website to GoDaddy. So let's get started. Just to save time, I already tried out, at least to make sure that we don't waste too much time because I think it's a very dirty job to deploy Laravel plus Vue on a GoDaddy server. So I'm going to shortcut a lot of things because I already have tried out a lot of things. So let's get started. What the first thing that we have to do is let's start with what we need to do at least. So if I go back, we need to start building the project first so that we package it and then make it available for, let's say, deploying. So as the first step, I'm going to do something. We already have the package.json, which is having the white build, which is what we will be doing. So we need to run an npm run build to do that. So let's start with that npm run build. This is what will create a package. Just see what happens in this folder structure when we do that. So white is building the package which we need to deploy. So if you see, there are some files which are generated, which are a minified version, which is created under public build assets folder, as well as there is a manifest file which is created. So if you go to this is what is generated right now. You have the assets. Okay, you have the build assets. I think this was an older tryout which I did because of which it was created, so I'm going to just delete that. And it's created under this build assets and the files, which are the minified versions. And you also have something called as a manifest, which is what decides which file source, which is the file and where is the source path and everything. So this is the important ones, but again, these are generated. But as soon as we do this, we are once we try deploying, there are some issues that we will face. But at least let me show you what all things are going to happen right now. So let's start packaging this for deployment. I'm going to delete the older one which I tried out. So just focus on what is getting done here. So I have this project because like I said, we're going to use the file upload version to deploy to GoDaddy. So it's the dirtiest way possible to do it. But again, let's do that in this first episode at least. But I'll again come back for the SSH way of doing it, which is more cleaner, which again, we can do as soon as we get, let's say, do with database migration and everything. But for this episode, let's do the dirty way just to make sure that everything works on a Laravel. So this is already built. So you have the node modules and everything built. Also, you have the public folder where all of this got generated right now. Public folder was already there for the images and everything, but you have some of the files now generated, including the build, which is here. So this is what will be referenced. So as soon as you deploy this, like I'm going to zip it first thing, compress. That's 158 MB. Most of it is the vendor package, the package, all the packages within the vendor folder. And once the compression is done, we'll go back to start try out the deployments. So I'm going to be deploying, this is the place. It has to be, if you're using GoDaddy, then you will have to deploy everything within the root, which is at the public HTML folder. That is where you normally dump everything. So I already have this website of mine dumped there. And this is the whole file, and there are also some other files, but I'm going to get rid of it and show you that on real time. When I delete everything, my website is going to go down. So I'm going to delete minus this is my backup zip, and I'm also going to keep this one. This is another project which I'm having, so I'm going to delete rest of the things. So those are all gone. So now my website will be down. Yeah, forbidden, that means there is nothing available, say it's gone. Now what we are trying to do is to get this up and running on that at this location. So I'm gonna upload, go back to archive, so let it deploy. Okay, that took a while. So if, let's say, I go back and reload, I should have this archive here. Now the next step is to extract all the files within the public HTML folder itself. It's going to get extracted right now. And that's it. So all of the files are extracted, and you see everything is here, but then there are some changes which you still need to do. Until that time, it's going to say it is forbidden. So as a next step, what we need to do, everything is dirty job here. So you need to go to the public folder and look for the files which are inside. I'm going to move at least 4 files to start with. The robot.txt, index.php. This is for hot reloading or something, which is generated by Laravel when you do it using white, and then the favorite icon. So I'm going to move all of this outside the public folder. I think this is the first part of fixing, where now all of these would have moved to index.php. Everything is moved to public folder. So now it should give you a blank. That means that part is resolved right now, but then there are still issues in loading. You don't see much in terms of logs. Maybe you need to still enable some logs, but again, these are the tricky parts. I can't really ask anything to ChatGPT, at least for these things, because it did not really help me much. So what I'm going to do is, based on what I have understood, going through Slack channels, or at least Stack Overflow and everything, is that first thing. Yeah, you just get started with the index.php, edit that over here itself, and then you allow to change the path. So it's pointing to a folder inside. That's the reason it was giving a file 403 earlier, but then as it is moved outside right now, the index.php is outside, so it should reference these files from within public.html. So these are the 2 changes which are again going to make some more progress for us. So I'm going to close this, refresh, and now it gives you a different kind of error. At least we are very close, but then the error right now it is giving is that hero section.css, it's not able to identify within resources.css. That means if you go to the public folder, build assets, this is where it is existing. You don't really see CSS which is there, and the problem is because of a mistake I made, which I need to correct right now, which is, if let's say you go to the blade template, let's go to the blade template, which should be within your resources, views, blade template. I had referenced all of this here, the navbar CSS. All that we just wanted was the CSS, because everything is imported here. So there was no need to point everything over here, which I learned later. So this was useless. So I can just get rid of these 2. And if you want to see app.css already has the import. So there was no need for doing that in the first thing. So this is the reason that error was happening. So because of that, again, I'll have to now recompile everything. So I'm going to do that. whatever we did right now, maybe let's clear off. That's another dirty way of doing it, to clean off everything, because I'm going to just try out a lot of, it's more of a trial and error right now. I removed all of that, and now I'm going to package it again, all of these files. I might have to do it 3 times before it works, but I just want to show you all the number of tryouts I did before it started working. So the first step of compressing. That's done. So if go back to upload again, I hope it takes a little lesser than the last time. I think there was an issue with my internet earlier. Yeah, it's a little more faster right now. I'm hoping. Okay, so now if let's say we extract, archive, boom, I think we still need to do all of those changes, which we did again. We'll have to do all of that. I'm going to get rid of archive file and then move those files outside. And make those changes again for the index file, edit. Okay, that's also done. And now let's refresh. It worked. Okay, so that's pretty much, I was hoping there was one more step, but it started working, which is good. Because I think one change which I was anticipating, let me check whether that's already there. It's not there, so I think it started working without much even. So these are maybe the two changes. If it does not work for you, there was one more step maybe, um, which should have happened. But then again, I think maybe the last time when I tried, I was trying a lot of trials, and then maybe I was even making some changes to the files which would have made it not work. But then again, yeah, I think it almost worked right now without much of a trouble, because all that I did was move the files outside. So most of the build assets, everything remains within here. You also have this manifest, which is what looks for the files and its location. And then you have the index.php, the change that you had to do. Otherwise, this is one way of doing it. The dirty way, for using file manager, upload to this one, which is, I did not use ChatGPT much here, because I felt it did not help me much. Maybe because it cannot see what is really happening. There are a lot of things that even I pointed to different errors, it could not really help me. So I had to go through Slack, Stack Overflow, and everything before I could solve a lot of things. Even I had to trace myself some of the issues in terms of identifying what could be wrong. So it was a struggle, but then I think because I went through the struggle, I wanted to keep this shorter and then more meaningful and more informative. That's the reason I just came back for a shorter episode to finish this off. So this is how it looks. It's working in GoDaddy, deployed in GoDaddy. It's available, and this is how you do the dirty way of deployment in GoDaddy using File Manager. But I'm going to come back soon using it, the SSH way. That's after we start, let's say, doing let's say database creation and everything, which I think will help us in a way that we do in a little better way. But then again, these are hosting providers who are not really, it is really not meant for enterprise solutions and all. It's more something to, for early starters, where if you want to just set up something, try out something, this is good enough. But I am also trying out, I will not move to AWS for this, at least, because I'm not really going to integrate a lot of stuff where security is going to be a big aspect. So that's the reason it's more of a dumping file kind of an approach for me on this. But yeah, in the future, when I'm really building solutions which has to scale and I need to reach out to customers, in that at that point I allow to think of a subscription to AWS, which could be for 1 year free tier subscription, which is available. I have tried it out for some of the solutions I have built recently. I can show even this one, or how you can deploy to AWS using GitHub actions, then set up Terraforms or CloudFormation, and then deploy it through GitHub Actions, which is an interesting space to also look at. So I think this is pretty much what I wanted to show you today. It it was not really about ChatGPT around this time because, like I said, it did not help much. But then this is also an informative episode where I just wanted to show how the deployment can happen. But at least when it came to deploying through CloudFormation, Terraform, and everything, ChatGPT really helped because I did manage to do most of the things, but there were some things which I still had to go to Slack or Stack Overflow to sort some of those things out. So there are still challenges around using ChatGPT. It's not still not possible to do end-to-end things, which is something we still have to at least be aware of. So with that, I conclude this episode. Please like this, subscribe, stay subscribed for more episodes. We are going to start with the day 7, which is going to be very interesting because I'm going to start with building the backend required for showing all the tutorials which I will be listing over here. So I'm going to build that using Laravel itself on the backend. And then a lot of other things are coming, like the blogging section. I also need to integrate the newsletter using maybe MailChimp or maybe any of the other mail providers, where I should be able to send out newsletters on a month to month or something like that. So more things are coming soon. So until the next episode, it's bye from me.